Good evening and welcome to Wednesday night Racing for a Cause TV. The late models taking Stafford, Connecticut by storm tonight. We've got 100 laps of action for you to watch, and we're getting ready to qualify. In the booth tonight, me. You get me. Rick may be joining me later, but as for right now, that's it. Here I am, on my own. I'll pick on Rick a little bit while he's not here. Half-mile track here at Stafford, Connecticut. Or Stafford, excuse me. And right now, Jason Fluffy Garrett up front in the qualifying. Justin McDuff right behind him. Brian Rogers Jr. in third. Some big names still out there on track, though, including that one right there, the number 94, T. Roy Radford, who had led the speed charts in practice. T. Roy looking to make a nice race out of tonight. Second to the last race here for the season. And the series is tight. Championship points are very important tonight. Right now, Chris Mefford, your points leader. Troy Rafford behind him by 1 point. Patrick Smith running third. Andy Lambert fourth. Brian Hacker fifth. JP, Justin Pinnell running in sixth. Doug Wasaki seventh. AJ Rogers eighth. Timmy Hale in ninth. And Rowdy Johnson rounds out the top 10. And that's your point standings. So, yeah, very tight. We've got tonight and next Wednesday night to go. And of course, next week we end the season 100 miles at New Hampshire. JP off the track during qualifying. Cars are qualifying by themselves. I know it doesn't really look like it, but they are qualifying by themselves out there. Each car is on its own. You see Patrick Smith coming to an end of his qualifying run. The 12 car, AJ Rogers out there. Speeds on the track reaching about 105, 106 miles per hour on the straightaways. Then they have to dive that nose down to about 75, 76 miles an hour on fresh tires. Probably more like 70 on older tires to get around the corners. Then back up to speed. So, heavy on the brakes. Good throttle control. Finding your line early. That's what it's going to be all about tonight. Still a couple of cars out there that haven't taken qualifying. Doug Wasaki out on track right now. Never mind that noise behind me. Wednesday night, late models. This is the series that started us up. This is going to be the end of the third season of the late models, getting ready to go into the fourth in September. This is really the heart of the league. Most of the cars carry a special cause to somebody's heart. And that is really what Racing for a Cause was started on. Just a big happy family, trying to get some good racing in. Well, like any family, we have our disagreements and arguments from time to time, but we snap out of it and get back to racing. And that is the end of qualifying, I believe. We do have about a 10-minute qualifying session, so I'm sure the admins are going to advance that session as soon as they can and as soon as they need to. Gene, the 500 is something we're planning on doing, I believe, sometime in, I want to say sometime in September, but I could be wrong. There's going to be no sign-ups at all. If you have been a part of this league, you are welcome to join the 500. That's how it's going to work. Of course, up until 43 cars. After that, I don't know what we're going to do. I guess we're going to have to qualify it in, but yeah, that's going to be fun. 500 laps at Daytona. The car yet to be determined. Really, the date hasn't been settled on yet, but it is going to be... I'm going to push for sometime in the off-season. That's what I'm going to push for. I'm going to vote for it, if you will. Qualifying done. Looks like we have 23 cars out there tonight. Although it doesn't look like Rowdy Johnson in the 13 car took a qualifying lap, so I don't know if he's going to be racing or not. He's still in TeamSpeak, so he may be. Take a look around this little half-mile track. This is the home of the SK mods. They pretty much have a whole series that runs here. Pretty cool. Anybody down in the Connecticut area, if you've ever been here, you pretty much know the track. Probably way better than I do. I know it's a half a mile. I know it's in Connecticut, and that's about as much as I know about the track. Other than, like I said, top speed, from what I was seeing in practice, 105, 106 on the straightaways, diving down to 75-ish on the corners. So your brakes are going to be very important. Throttle control, it's what it's all about with these little cars. Keeping momentum, very important to do. And it looks like we're getting ready to grid up. Well, Junior's not in the booth with me tonight, so I guess I'm going to do it on my own. We're going to get ready to go through the grid. Not everybody's out there yet, but the front two are, so we're going to go for it. Taking the pole, the 78 car, Ryan Nolan. On the outside, the 73, Jason Fluffy Garrett. Qualifying third in the number 14 car, AJ Hamill. Qualifying fourth, the 93, Nicky Z in that 93. Fifth, we've got T-Roy Radford. Sixth, the 55 car, Stephen Baker. Seventh, the 11 car, Brian Hacker. And eighth, the 6 car of Justin McDuff. Starting ninth, in the number 10 car, Brian Rogers Jr. In 10th, we've got the 21 car, Adam Maddox. Starting 11th tonight, Sean Cool in the number 2. On his outside in 12th place, the 35 car, Andy Lambert. 13th, AJ Rogers. 14th, Doug Wasaki. Qualifying 15th tonight in the number 60, we've got Justin J. Peach. Well, Jason, oh boy. In 16th place, we've got Rick Greenaway. Phil Otto, 17th. David Knowles in 18th. Jeff Watson, 19th. Fat Pat Smith, starting in 20th position in the 75 car. Chris Mefford rolling out 21st. Rowdy Johnson, 22nd. And that is our grid for tonight. As the pace car lights are off, the field is set, and we're getting ready to go green flag racing. One more trip around the field, and we are going to go live. Waiting for the green flag. Ryan Nolan takes green flag and the race is on. Ryan Nolan to the inside, Jason Garrett to the outside. The 14 car right behind them, trying to keep pace. That's AJ Hamill. On the outside, Nicky Z in the 93, trying to make the outside work early. We've already got one in the wall, I heard it. Ooh, a bunch of cars tied up into that one. Oh boy, that's not how you want to start. Alright, we're going to take a peek and try and figure out what happened. It was towards the end of the field. Let's see if we can find it here. Ooh, 35 car. It looked like he got turned or something. He darted way to the inside. Got some server issues. You see some blinking happening. Yeah, it's not really the way you want to start your race. So, Ryan Nolan, your leader in the 78 car. Jason Garrett going to start on his outside again. AJ Hamill to the inside, second row. Nicky Z in the 93, fourth. Actually, top 5 hasn't changed. T-Roy Radford. So, first caution of the night. This little half-mile track already starting to bite people. Did I mention the points chase is really, really tight? Maybe, just maybe, a clean race might get you a championship tonight. These guys know it. They watch the points. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see kind of how people like Chris Mefford approach the race. Troy Radford. You know, the list goes on, but certainly top 3 or 4 in points have a shot at this thing still. So every point, every position, every lap led, it all matters. Right now, Troy Radford in 5th. Like I said, he is second place right now in points. And the 44 car, Chris Mefford, your leader in the points, back in 15th position. So right now, based on those positions, Troy Radford is actually your points leader. Pace car lights are off. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Get that first one out of the way early. Try and get some green flag laps in. Really hoping that Rick Hammond Jr. is able to join me in the booth later. He had some family things he had to do tonight. And the guy signs up to be a coach for soccer. Yikes. We are green flag racing again. Ryan Nolan takes the field through turns 1 and 2. On the inside, Ryan Nolan starts to escape with the 14 car of AJ Hamill. Tries to take over second. He's giving a good battle to Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett has to let him go on the outside. Troy Radford in the 94 trying to make a little hay on that inside line. Got cut down just a little bit. Not able to come out of that corner the way he would have wanted, but he is up to 4th place. Nicky Z in the 93 not having a place to go because he's stuck on the outside. He lost a bunch of positions there. Nicky Z back to 5th. Ryan Nolan, your leader. AJ Hamill's behind him. Jason Fluffy Garrett in 3rd. And there's some action in the back of the pack. A lot of good, clean racing going on so far here. Early on in this race. We're looking at the black number 55. That's Steve Baker. He's to the inside of Nicky Z. And Nicky just not able to get down in the lane where he's pushing up on the corners. Oh, yeah, he's pushing. He just clobbered the wall, trying to knock that wall down in that 93 car. And I think I just saw the 24 car. Yeah, I did. That's Rick Greenaway. Let's take a peek and see what happened with him. So we got him right there, the 24 Autism car. Oh, it looks like he just about halfway through the corner cuts down hard. Andy Lambert gets into... Oh boy, that was just chain reaction racing right there. Andy blinked too. So we're seeing a lot of blinking. The servers were pretty good on Monday night. I didn't see a lot of blinking Monday night. So far, this server has not been our friend as far as blink-free zone. Jason Garrett goes down pit road, lap number 10. He surrenders 2nd place, or 3rd place, excuse me, 3rd place. Ryan Nolan, AJ Hamill Troy Radford moves himself up to third with that surrendering of Jason Garrett to pit road. Brian Hacker fourth. Steve Baker up to fifth place. So top five starting to change it up a little bit. One constant so far, the number 78 up front, Ryan Nolan, still your race leader. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's come out, taking a little time out of their Wednesday night to join us here at Racing for a Cause TV. Do apologize that you're forced to listen to me and me alone tonight, at least so far. Hopefully Rick does get home soon so that he can join me up here and maybe give me a little break. Jake, you're back. Welcome back, bud. Thanks for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it. So far, 2 cautions for 5 laps. 2 different lead changes. Looks like Jason Garrett did lead 1 lap there. So he was able to sneak 1 lead for points. And again, this series next week finishes off next Wednesday night in New Hampshire. Next week is a big one for us as the season starts coming to a close. We start off Monday night with a K&N Throwback Series. And that's going to be at Michigan for the Miller 100. That's going to be a 200-mile affair right there. And then, of course, these cars next Wednesday night going to do 100 miles in New Hampshire, so 100 laps there. So we got 200 more laps after this race, and then the season comes to an end. Champions will be crowned, and we take a break. I just want it to be known, as I was joking with Greeny before the race, I haven't missed a race this season. My best attendance so far. Pace car is in. The 78 has charge of the field. Ryan Nolan pacing. And he goes as soon as he hits the straightaway. Ryan Nolan hits the gas. AJ Hamilton to the outside. T-Roy Radford to the inside. Troy Radford trying to get position inside of AJ Hamill. Try and take over second place. AJ Hamill stays to the outside just a little bit. Gives Troy Radford enough room to stick his nose underneath there again. Not enough to get past yet. Going into turn 1 and 2. Troy Radford pushing hard for second place. This is the time to do it. Hey, Tommy. Troy Radford takes over second from AJ Hamill. Now AJ Hamill's in a world of hurt because he is on the outside with a line of cars. Ooh! AJ Hamill goes around, makes contact with the car behind. Will it bring out a caution? I don't know if he got it straightened out yet. Green flag conditions still on track. AJ Hamill must have gotten it together. He is. He's up to speed. So no caution on that one. Steve Baker up to third place. Justin McDuff fourth place. Brian Hacker fifth. And Brian Rogers coming in sixth. Pat Smith up to seventh place already. Doug Wasaki eighth. AJ Rogers ninth place. Chris Mefford worked his way up. He is up to 10th already, rounding out that top 10. So Mefford on a move. Right now, though, the guy really moving, that 78 car, Ryan Nolan, he's had a couple of different people looking, but nobody's been able to find a way to get to his back bumper, really. And that interval right now, 0.4 of a second, as Ryan Nolan goes across the start-finish line again. 20 of 100 down, 1/5 of this race already completed. You see how it's a half-mile track. It's not big. You've got a pretty good view no matter where you're sitting in the bleachers. Troy Radford trying to find a way to get close to that 78 and try and make a move. But you see that 78 pull away, coming out of 2, down the backstretch, and then back onto the brakes, slowing that car down. The 94 looks to be getting into 3 just a little bit. Oh, the 78 gets tight and into the wall. 78 gets very tight and into the wall. He's trying to go forward, and that brings out the caution. I'm going to take a peek at that one. So we're keeping our eyes on the race leader, the 78. As he goes down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. I can't explain that. I mean, he touched the apron, but I can't explain that. The front of that car took a hard right-hand turn. I don't know what happened there. If I was in a regular server, an official race, if you will, that's usually when somebody comes on and says, my steering wheel fell off. But yeah, Tom, you're absolutely right. It looks like his steering wheel shut down. Oh my God. And that's exactly what happened. His wheel shut down, lost power. Thank you, JP, for the update. Another reason why I miss Rick. He's able to listen into the race chatter and know what's happening. Oh my goodness. Heartbreaker right there for the 78. The guy that's going to benefit the most right now, Troy Radford, running in first place in that 94 car. Steve Baker is going to start on his outside. Justin McDuff up to 3rd. Brian Hacker 4th. Brian Rogers in 5th in the 10 car. Wow, that is not what you want to see. Tough, tough break. I'm kind of sitting here in awe. You got to give me a second. Just think about what happened there. All my time in iRacing, I've had some pretty weird issues that happen and still happen to this day. Like if I'm racing every once in a while, I don't know, my screen will stutter or something weird, and I just attribute that to the server. And I've had people tell me that their steering wheel has fallen off or anything like that. But, man, to have a steering wheel absolutely just lose power on you. And Tom, it wasn't X-Files. It's my wife's phone. And that was the Mockingjay from the Hunger Games movies. "12 races in." I've said it before, although she wasn't in the room when I did it, but thank you to my wife for giving me the time to do this. It's been a real blast getting to know how to do this and gathering up the courage to do it. You put yourself out on the internet, you're going to get 2 responses. Either people are going to like you or people are going to hate you. And by the way we've grown, I'm going to go with people who have started to like us. Or at least like the product. Maybe they don't like me per se, but maybe they like the product. And that's just as good. So the cars are 2x2. Pace car is off. Troy Radford is going to get this car going again. He's going to get the whole field going, that 94 car. And he's off. Troy Radford hits the hammer. Steve Baker slides right down, taking over that inside line. Smart move by Steve Baker right there. That's exactly what you need to do in order to not lose a lot of... Thanks, Chase. Appreciate that. By the way, that's minus 10 points in any future series. Troy Radford, Steve Baker starting to pull away from the rest of the field a little bit. Troy with a 0.4 of a second lead over Baker. Then back 1.2 to Justin McDuff in 3rd. So right now it's Troy Radford's race. You see he's now led 9. Troy Radford down the backstretch, hard into the brakes to go around 3 and 4. Looks like he pushes up just a little bit in 3 and 4. Stays off the wall though. That's one thing you have to be very careful about. If you don't brake enough, you're going to find your right quarter right into the wall here. Oh, Chase isn't married yet. He's just a youngin'. Troy Radford starting to run away along with Steve Baker, but we are under caution again. And I apologize because that one I didn't see. Maybe I did. The 45 with heavy damage. Let's take a peek. So we're watching the 45 car on the outside. It's got Jason Garrett, Andy Lambert to the inside. Oh, just as I was talking about it. You see what he did there? He got tight into the wall, off the corner, bounced himself off the wall, came down into some other drivers, and started a little chain reaction there. I was just talking about that. Commentator curse strikes again. It is real. That gives Phil Otto a chance to go around the pace car one time and get a lap back. He's back on the lead lap. Our Aussie. Fun fact about T-Roy, he once won the $10,000 to win limited modified kart race at Thanksgiving Thunder. He's at Carnesville, Georgia. May have been 5,000, but he's almost positive. So he won some money, is what you're saying, Tom, which is pretty cool. Pace car lights are off. Cars lining up 2 by 2, getting ready to go back green. Rick is actually not on tonight, Chase. He's got some family things he's doing. He may join us later on, but geez, by the time he gets home, who knows? The race will probably be over. Troy Radford getting ready to go back green flag racing. He sets the pace for the field. The 55 squeezes in. He's trying to get back down to that inside lane. I don't think he's going to be able to do it this time. Justin McDuff holds position. He is able to hold that inside line. Goes down onto the apron, but holds onto it. Steve Baker able to get down into that inside line, holds his position. So more good racing by Steve Baker right there. Pretty much nose to tail. Just about the whole field. Oh, who's that back there? I'm not sure who that was, but you saw it. 2 went around, 2 different cars, but we're still under green flag, so good job by them. I don't know exactly what happened, but Chris Mefford on pit road, 6 laps down, starting to come off pit road right now. So big ding in the points night for Chris Mefford. You see Chris starting to roll off pit road, just waiting for the field to go by. Once they go by, he'll be back on track. But right now, T-Roy Radford, the 94 car, dominating this race at this point. 20 laps led. That was a 78er again. Oh, shoot. Troy Radford starting to open it up now. The gap is 0.6 of a second. We look a little further back in the field just to take a peek at the cars, as it looks like we're under a little bit of a green flag stretch. Right now the battle is for 8th place. Patrick Smith trying to hold on. Jason Garrett trying to apply the pressure. Jason Garrett sneaks back in behind him and then goes back down low. Pat Smith looks like he's pushing high. He's pushing hard on that 75 car, trying to keep position. And that may work against him in the end, and it does. Jason Garrett gains position. And right behind him, the 14 car, AJ Hamill, also takes position away from Pat Smith. Patrick Smith down to 10th now. That was about the only battle on track that I was seeing. Right now we look at the 10 car, currently running in 5th place. That's Brian Rogers Jr. Right behind him, Nicky Z in the 93 and 21 car of Adam Maddox. Taking a look at that 35 car, you've seen him get kind of pummeled tonight so far. The car is definitely starting to show the damage. They call this place the home of the SK Modifieds. Andy Lambert trying to make his car look like a modified. Maybe it will by the end of the day, the way this thing is sticking its tires out. Sean Cool in the number 2, followed by the 60 car, JP. Looks like JP's had a little bit of a rough night. You see a big tire rub on the inside of that car. The right side of that car is pretty banged up on the quarter. You might be able to save the left rear quarter panel. JP having trouble out there tonight. Probably because he's chatting. JP, keep off the keyboard. There, that's prime order number 1. Up front though, Troy Radford. Still in control as we hit the halfway point. And we begin lap number 51. Troy Radford now has led 29 laps of this one. Take an aerial view from the RFC blimp. You see, for the most part, most people want to stay down low, mostly off the apron, although if you watch that cat car, the yellow cat car, he likes to go down below that white line onto the apron. Let's see if we can find Jason Garrett. There he is right there in that cat car. And you see him right there. He brings his left side tires down on the apron just a little bit. Helps get that car to rotate. Troy Radford starting to catch up to some lap traffic. That's the 66 car. That's Phil Otto. Phil Otto in the 66 gives way to the leader. Troy Radford to the inside. That's a nice clean pass. Good driving by Phil Otto. keeping out of the way of the race leaders. Very respectful driver, Phil Otto. He even puts himself into the wall just to try and stay out of the way. It's okay, Phil. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. Gather it back up. Know you're the first car a lap down. And you're probably going to get it back again. Lap 58 now of 100. Lap 58. Troy Radford doing everything he can to try and get some very, very valuable points tonight. Launch himself into the lead in the point standings. Now, I will say, next week I could come back at you and say a couple of things completely opposite of what I did tonight. We do employ a drop week, which could change the standings around a little bit. But I believe between Chris and Troy, I don't know if there's going to be that much of a change between those two drivers. Trying to figure out who Troy just passed. Again, doing a very nice job getting out of the way of the leaders, letting them fight it out. It does appear to be the 12 car. That's AJ Rogers doing that. So good racing out of that 12 car. Just kind of staying out of the way of the faster drivers. Now he is the first car lap down. So if there is a caution, he'll benefit from that. Well, I'm sorry, he won't. Phil Otto's still one lap down. AJ Rogers currently scored nine laps down. So Phil Otto's still the lucky dog if we get another caution. But up front, Troy Radford really kind of holding at about 0.8 of a second gap between him and Steve Baker. So it'll be interesting to see if Steve is able to save anything, maybe push his way back up to the 94. Everybody kind of content running nose to tail right now. They do run 50% fuel, so it's going to be very tight if they try and do it on without taking a pit stop. I don't know if they can actually make it. If they can, it'll be very, very close. One guy I could have asked live is not in TeamSpeak right now. Greenie, if you're out there, if you know if these guys can take it all the way to the wire, let me know. I'm interested to know if a fuel run strategy is being employed or if they actually have to pit tonight. I don't know. I'm not sure. Troy Radford just getting around those lap cars while still maintaining a lead. That lead down now to 0.7 of a second. Steve Baker's picked it up just a little bit. It may be because of the lap cars. We're going to find out. They both have a little bit of open track in front of them right now. Troy does have Chris Mefford right in front of him, but he's not slowing him down at this point. Chris Mefford pulls down to allow the leaders to go by. Troy Radford, 28 laps to go, has led 50 of them at this time. Definitely the most laps led tonight. And I don't think anybody's going to break that. So that point is his. And that was the one point that he was behind. Then we start talking about where is he going to finish compared to where Chris Mefford's going to finish. That's the one that we don't know the answer to quite yet. But this could be a huge, huge points run for Troy Radford tonight. And this could be the one that decides the championship. Top 5 relatively unchanged for the last several laps. You've got Troy Radford, Steve Baker, Justin McDuff, Brian Hacker, Brian Rogers Jr. We'll keep going. Jason Garrett running 6th, AJ Hamill in the 14 car 7th, Adam Maddox running 8th, Nicky Z in the 93 9th, Andy Lambert topping off the top 10, and we might as well keep going. Patrick Smith 11th, JP, Justin Pinnell with that beat up number 60 car right now running in 12th. Justin Napier running 13th, David Knowles 14th, Phil Otto 15th, Chris Mefford out on track running 16th. Those are the cars that are running currently. We do have a couple out in the pits actively taking pit stops. So Steve Baker just a few laps ago starting to catch up to Troy, but now the lead has grown to 1 second. Troy Radford looking to take the checkered flag tonight. He's got 22 laps to hold off Steve Baker in that 55 car. Look around and see if we can find some action out on track. These guys pretty content, just kind of driving nose to tail, but I say that. And we've got the 14 car trying to make a move on the inside of the 73. AJ Hamill looking to make a move. Kind of got himself cut off there just a little bit, as he came into that corner really hot. Jason Garrett trying to hold on to 6th place. Jason gets very loose off that corner. He's going to lose some time on track, but he's able to hold position. AJ Hamill gave him the room he needed to get back in position. Jason Garrett almost spun that car around. He is pushing that 73 hard right now. Into the wall, Jason Garrett. That might be the one. AJ Hamill to the inside, going around 1 and 2. AJ Hamill moves himself up to 6th place. Right in front of him, Brian Rogers Jr., the 14 car, trying to make waves with only 17 laps to go. 16 make it. Back up front, you see Steve Baker's closed the gap 0.5 of a second now. Went from a second to 0.5 of a second and closing. Steve Baker's starting to make the moves. He may have been letting his tires cool down, may have been saving them. Steve Baker right now very much faster than Troy Radford. Steve Baker takes a look to the inside, not able to complete, backs off. Troy Radford leads that lap. Steve Baker right on his bumper. The battle right now for the win with 14, almost 13 laps to go. Steve Baker trying to figure out a way to get around that 94 car, waiting for one little mistake so that he can put his nose down underneath him. Not going to happen on turns 1 and 2. Ooh, we've got a car into the wall. That's the 6 car. That's Justin McDuff in the 6 car into the wall. That's going to bring out caution. The first caution in a long, long time. We're going to take a peek at that one. So we're going to keep our eyes on the gray and green car, the 6 car. Justin McDuff. Looks like you had Brian Hacker to the inside. Clean pass there. And the two of them touched. Brian Hacker was able to continue, the 6 car not so much. So up front, Troy Radford, we have 10 laps to go. If it was going to be a fuel run, I don't think you're going to see it now. I don't think you're going to have one single car come down pit road. Not on the lead lap cars anyway. Phil Otto getting a lap back. Troy Radford in the 94 car is going to have a short run to try and win this race. Radford, Baker, Rogers, Hacker, Hamill. There's your top 5. We're setting up for a really good finish here. Yeah, Tom, you're not kidding. Very, very tough front row indeed. Radford and Baker. Radford will have control over the green flag. He will have that one last advantage when he goes green. That'll be his last advantage. Then he's going to have to battle it out with Baker on track. Don't forget about the number 10 car running 3rd right now, Brian Rogers Jr. And Brian Hacker to his outside, running in 4th in that 11 car. I don't know if I want to be on the top 2 rows in this one. This is going to be a fight. Pace car lights go down. One more lap around before we get started. It's going to be a 6-lap shootout. It's been decided. Pace car into pit road. The 94 car, Troy Radford, leads the group around turns 3 and 4. Troy Radford starts the race. Troy is jumping out front. Did exactly what he needed to do. He got a good jump there. Steve Baker held off to the outside. Brian Rogers in the 10 car trying to sneak to the inside. Brian Rogers trying to take over second place. Not able to do it there. Steve Baker able to get back out in front and into the bottom groove. The 94 car out front, followed by the 55 and 10. The group is gathered tight bunch right now. You've got two wide action going on towards the rear of the lead lap cars. Did I say towards the rear? I just saw 5th place, 6th place right now being battled for. Two wide. Stacy, thanks for coming out and checking us out, bud. Appreciate it. Ooh, we've got one going around. Boy, that 21 car, I thought he was going to go all the way around, and it's not done yet. A little chain reaction further back. Back up front, Troy Radford over Steve Baker. 0.2 of a second lead. Nicky Z in the 93 coming back into the top 4. He just takes over 4th place right there with a nice little move. Maybe going for 3rd. Nicky Z in the 93 trying to fire that 93 up into 3rd. Not able to complete that pass in 1 and 2. Going down the backstretch. They battle side by side. Doors beating and banging. Nicky Z comes out in 3rd place. 2 more laps to go. Troy Radford, 2 more laps to go, and this one's going to be yours. Steve Baker trying to put the kibosh to that. He wants one more win. Had a win Monday night in the K&N Series at Pocono. Looks to try and repeat as the winner. But Nicky Z in the 93 making use of that apron. Nicky Z trying to get around Steve Baker to the way inside. Not able to do it that time around. Steve Baker goes from guy who's trying to pass to guy who's trying to defend as Nicky Z goes side by side going down the backstretch. With position to the inside, Steve Baker holds on tight. Troy Radford up front, watching it all in the rearview mirror. Ooh, Nicky Z loses it just a little bit, gets loose. Steve Baker able to defend off Nicky Z. Troy Radford's race to lose right now with a 0.4 of a second lead going into turns 3 and 4. Nicky Z, one last battle in on the 55 of Baker. But your winner tonight, the 94 car, Troy Radford. Troy Radford takes it home. Great battle from him and Steve. Nicky Z at the end was showing some really impressive speed. But that's a huge win for Troy Radford. Big points implications there. Great race from him. Your winner tonight, that 94 car, Troy Radford, led 79 of the 100 laps here tonight in dominant fashion, trying to take a championship away. His teammate, the 44, gives him a little bump in the rear. Congratulations to him. Since I'm by myself, give me a couple seconds. We're going to have ourselves some interviews. Give me one moment as I get that ready. We'll be right back. All right, well, it looks like we only have 2 of the top 3 finishers out there tonight. We're going to bring up the results board right now. Again, your winner, Troy Radford in the 94 car. 55 car, Steve Baker, bringing it home second. A hard-charging 93 car, Nicky Zotner. The 10 car, Brian Rogers, comes home fourth, and A.J. Hamill brings it home fifth. Adam Maddox sixth. Justin Napier seventh. Brian Hacker eighth. Fat Pat McSwain, Patrick Smith brings it home in the top 10 and ninth. Andy Lambert comes home top 10, top 10. That's awesome. Good job, guys, there. Moving on. JP, Justin Pinnell, brings that number 60 car home in 11th place. Justin McDuff, 12th. Phil Otto, 13th. Chris Mefford, 14th. Jason Garrett, 15th. David Knowles, 16th. Sean Cool, 17th. AJ Rogers, Ryan Nolan, Doug Wasaki, Rick Greenaway, Jeff Watson, and, Jeff Watson and Rowdy Johnson never took green flag. So, Rick Greenaway, you didn't come in last. All right. Looks like we're going to bring up our second place finisher. Oops, sorry about that, Steve. Coming on up, the number 55 car, coming home second. A very good week for him. A win in Pocono, a second place here at Stafford. Steve Baker, I know you got a copy. How's it going tonight, bud?
Going well. Yeah, it's been a pretty good week. That was fun there racing with Troy, man. He got out there a big lead there, and then that green flag run, just we got some wear on those tires and had to do a little bit of saving fuel. Got back up to him, and then caution fell, and then kind of defense from there on with guys behind us with fresh tires.
Yeah, and the guy you really had a battle with the last few laps, Nicky Z in the 93. Man, it looked like he had your number, got a little bit of loose, and that was enough to give you that second place finish. Great racing tonight, Steve. Anybody out there you want to thank?
Yeah, I think just the guys out there running. Troy ran a super clean race. Nick ran a super clean race. A lot of respect out there from those guys, and congrats to Troy on the win. And thank you for broadcasting, Chris, and it's been fun.
All right, but hey, congratulations again. A first place finish, Pocono, a second place here tonight at Stafford. That's a pretty good week, bud. Have yourself a great celebration. We'll get you back down there. So, Nicky Z is not here, like I said. That was your third place finisher. So, second place was Steve Baker. That leaves us with one other driver to talk to. That is your winner tonight, Troy Radford, in the number 94 car. Troy, this is Chris. Do you have a copy?
I do, Chris. How are you doing this evening?
Well, bud, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you very much for putting on one heck of a show. Boy, at the end, Steve Baker was putting the moves on you. And then your best friend, I've got to say, your best friend, Nicky Z, in that 93 car, came up, started putting the moves on him. And I think, just by watching, you may have to thank him because all of a sudden Baker had a mirror full.
Oh, my gosh, man. I can't tell you how grateful I was whenever that happened. I mean, the entire time, first of all, everybody up front, me and Steve had a great race there, just clean as could be. It was hard to pass there. Really hard to pass. So it was tough to get by anybody, so I knew he had his hands full, but I was so grateful to see Nick pull up underneath him.
Hey, bud. You came into this race 1 point behind teammate Chris Mefford, obviously by winning and Chris not having the night that he was wanting. That's going to catapult you to the number 1 points position. I figure with drop weeks happening, I think you're still going to be there. So it was a pretty big night for you. Is there anybody out there you want to thank?
First of all, I got to point out my lovely paint scheme here for this evening. I had to do something to change my luck around, so I went with the Shopkins scheme. Seemed to do pretty well for me, apparently, but everybody involved with this, all of our teammates out there, getting out there practicing, running hard in practice, just so you can really get an idea. And, of course, you guys just for putting it on. And, of course, I know I don't have it on the card this week, but the National Kidney Foundation is a really important cause to me personally. So just got to throw it out there again.
Absolutely, bud. Hey, listen, that's a first place finish. I'm going to let you get back down with your teammates, celebrate that win. Great job, great fun. And, 79 laps led tonight, Troy. Pretty dominant performance. Congratulations once again.
Thank you much, man.
And that's going to just about do it for a Wednesday night. Running solo tonight, you have me. So, sorry if I put you to sleep, but the racing should have kept you awake. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank all of our drivers. Can't forget them. If it wasn't for you guys coming out to watch or our drivers going out there to race, I'd just be talking about, oh, I don't know what I'd be talking about at that point. So thank you all very much for coming out. Have a great Wednesday night.